So good morning, how are you all? Might be fine, well, very good in condition and health and wealth and everything. So now we will continue our lesson framing of constitution and its features with, so first of all it's kind request to open your book, page number 58. Importance of preamble we have already gone. So pillars of the preamble, pillars. As you all know, we are having income custody given by government of Gujarat. So we will go little bit speedy. If you have any doubt regarding any points and lesson, you just contact me. I will do my level best to make you understand these all things. So have it. Let us pillars of preamble. The word inscribed in the preamble are: we the people of India soars in socialistic, secular, democratic republic, justice, liberty, fraternity and equality. Here we will study the following three main pillars of the preamble. That are, number one is democracy. Democracy, you all know that it's Lokshah. We used to say the ultimate sovereignty of power is with the people. According to the Indian Constitution, there is no particular arrangement. Yeah, somebody says arrangement of any one particular person. Instead, it is with the people. Means it's all about the people, by the people, for the people, of the people. As you all know, what is democracy? Democracy, the word is derived from the Greek word demos, and people means people, and kratos. Kratos means power. Country's power is not within a group of the people. Instead, it is within the people of the country. Democratic state administration in such an arrangement in which there is equal justice for the people with social, economic and political, and having equal rights of participation. So the word democracy doesn't mean that only particular type of people. We all are there. Means each and every community, Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, many, whatever the religion the people belongs to. And it affects to the political, to the social, to the economic, each and every aspect of life. That is democracy, and it's for the people, and it's by the people. In democratic India, people elect the leaders to the choice by casting vote to represent the leaders in the parliament, and thereafter assuming the post of prime minister and his or her cabinet. Executive do not have absolute power. Here the word is written executive, do not have absolute. The powers are within the prime minister and his minister. We used to elect the person, a particular person from our area, divided by the government, and then that our person, our representative becomes MLA, MP, member of parliament, member of legislative assembly. Apart from there are executives person, the administrators, the person we can go through. For example, collector is there, DPO is there, TDO, Taluka Development Officer is there, even the Talati, those who work, the administrative person who works in villages, it is Talati. So they are not having the absolute power, the perfect power. The perfect power is within the person those we have elected. Now they are given specific time limit. Similarly, the votes elect state and the local level government. Hence, democracy means by the people, for the people and of the people. Please underline this line. Cabinet consists member of parliament, cabinet of minister is responsible to the parliament. Any citizen of India who possesses required constitutional eligibility can contest the election. Ministerial positions are not acquired heredity. Each elected government has 5 years of tenure. This government works under the principle of constitution, and therefore it is known as responsible government. So any person who comes in the constitutional eligibility can be a member of parliament, or can be a member of legislative if the people elect him or her. So you also can be a member of parliament. You also might, some might be the Prime Minister of India. It's your destiny. So what happens? It is called responsible government. Why responsible? Because we all elect the particular person, and that person makes government. Either he is a minister or he is the Prime Minister of India. The democratic government is based on liberty, equality, and the feelings of fraternity, and constitutionally work to achieve this goal. Which goals do they have to achieve? To maintain the, we can say, to maintain people, facilities of people. If there will be no road, then what will happen? The roads are damaged. What we have to do? We have to complain that why these roads are damaged. So this all responsibility are given to the particular person that goes to the ruling person, and the government then rules. The constitution disseminate the power to the people to cast their vote according to their free will, and thereby instill confidence in the constitution. So the constitution says that each and every person is free to cast his or her vote to any particular person, to whomever he or she feels that this particular person will be our representative, he will work well. Then the casting of vote is done, and it is mentioned in our constitution. The Constitution of Democratic India renders fundamental right, principle for political directions, parliament members of assembly, independent and impartial justice, and election commission are those provisions which make our country democratic in every means. Please underline this whole paragraph. It is the most important one. What the Constitution of Democratic India renders, what renders? It says, it's reminders, we can say, it makes us to go through our fundamental rights, principles for political directions. What are the principles for political? Parliament member of parliament of assembly, independent and impartial justice also is mentioned in our preamble, in our constitution. And election commissions are those provisions, those regions, those areas which make our country democratic in every means. If the question comes, by which means our democratic, our India, our democratical country is mentioned. Which points are mentioned? You can answer this question. Now, socialistic. Social, you all know, we can say Samaj. In the year 1976, by 42nd Indian Constitution Amendment, Constitution of India added in the 42nd Amendment the word socialistic, samajikta. Most of the provisions in the Constitution of the India directly or indirectly show set social revolution, which brought social and economical equality and further the aim of welfare state. How a state can be in good welfare? How it can be in good condition? If a person is socially fulfilled, if a person is socially developed, Samaj आगे बढ़ेगा, then we will also be developed, and that affects to the economical condition of the particular person. So, in the 42nd Amendment in 1976, this provision was added in the amendment in our constitution, that is socialistic. The principle of socialistic pattern directs social, economic and political equality for citizens as given in the preamble. It is now regarded as a prime feature of the state. It reflects the fact that India is committed to the secure social, economic and political justice for all its people. India stands for abolishing all forms of exploitation as well as for securing equitable distribution of income, resources and wealth. Any one particular person should not have power over all assets. Instead, everyone should have equal opportunity by getting facilities and provisions from society, and thereby eliminating the discrimination of rich and poor. Therefore, we can say that Constitution of India is a socialistic document. Here, the points come in. I am not able to explain you thoroughly because of lack of time. But it's a great point that if socially we are developed, obviously we are developed. Apart we in India we got two sections most probably, that high class peoples and lower class peoples, poor and rich. So it doesn't happen any inequality regarding them. So this amendment was done in 1976 in the 42nd amendment it is called. So this system of socialistic was added regarding, because if a particular person, if we elect a particular person from here and send it him to as a member of parliament or member of legislative assembly, if he rules like a king, then what will happen? We can get the example of Germany. Hitler he was ruling like a king. So there is not a monarchy over there in India. We got democracy. In democracy, each and every people, either poor, either the richest, either the Mukesh Ambani, yeah, a beggar roaming here and there, he is equal for the rules of constitution, yeah, for the Indian democracy. Understand this point? Socially, we all are equal. We are in equal stage, and if we develop socially, no doubt we develop economically too. Now the another is secularism. The most important point as per my view is in the year 1976, again in the 42nd Indian Constitutional Amendment, the word secular was inserted, means added. India is a secular country. India can never become one particular religious country as per the provision of the Constitution. India does not follow any particular religion. So the country never promotes any religious activity. The country cannot involve any secular activity with a religious activity. The citizen of the country has the freedom to choose his or her religion. The country cannot discriminate a citizen on religious basis. Equal job opportunity and political rights to the citizen are given without any religious discrimination. In this way, secularism is the basic foundation and the monetary feature of the Constitution. Sarva Dharma Samdrishti and Sarva Dharma Sambhav are the principles incorporated in the Constitution. So no other particular religion would be encouraged in any state. There is no prohibition on any citizen to propagate his or her religious belief, truth and faith. So many very good important point we are having. Due to the world scenario and this whole thing, we are facing some problems nowadays. But religiously we cannot say that he is such a kind or he is from this religion, he is from that religion. We all get holidays on different, we get holidays on Eid, we get holidays on Diwali, yeah, many other religious days, we can say Pateti also. So Indian people, they are belong to many religions. So according to the Constitution, according to the each and every person are equal. They cannot be distinguished according to their religion. Yeah, they are not prohibited to maintain any right, any duties regarding to the religious matter. Not a particular religion is accepted, but each and every religion are accepted and work throughout the India. So India stands today among the world in its best position, because in every aspect, apart from different languages, apart from different religion, we all are equal. So secularism is the main aspect, we can say. After that comes socialistic and many other things. But if once we fight regarding religion, what will be the condition of India? India will not be in a united form. There will be no unity in India. But in view of secularism, if we are equal, all these two hands I will join, then I will get great power. Yeah, I will get a very good punch over there. So such condition, we can say the same system is ruled over in India, that apart from different religion, we are equal, and that aspect is gone through, is derived in this constitution. So constitutions help the point secularism, because it's an important point, and within that we have equality, trust, faith, each and everything. No particular person from a particular religion, no particular person from a different kinds of religion, but we all are mentioned in India. We are Indian. We are not Hindu, we are not Muslim, we are not Sikh, we are not Isai. Apart, we go through our religion, but above all, we are Indian, we are humans. Next, basic feature of the Constitution. We are taught the basic features of the Constitution. The Constitution, which came into force on 26th January 1950, is considered as the largest, extensive and detailed written document. Understand it. It is a written document, the largest, extensive and in detail it has been written. Given below is the basic and second feature of its written document. Except Britain and Israel, India along with other nations of the world have their constitution in written form. Considering the social, geographical, diversified circumstances and pre-historical notion, the Constitution Assembly has kept the drafted Constitution in written form. No doubt, apart from having many problems, though we have kept Britain's Constitution, Israel Constitution and our Indian Constitution is in written form, not printed, it is in written form. Then size of the Constitution. What is the size of the Constitution? Indian Constitution is divided into 22 sections comprising 395 articles and 8 appendices, now 12. The Constitution comprises provision from state admission and state interrelations, fundamental rights, principles of the political policies, judiciary, election commission, government institution, minorities, scheduled castes and deprived group. Therefore, our Constitution of India is the largest, extensive and detailed written document compared to other constitutions. So many aspects are there in this. Many, we can say many parts are there regarding this Constitution. Parts of judiciary section, government, how to rule, yeah, what are the formulas, yeah, what are the schemes of the government, some system from scheduled caste for scheduled tribe. Many things are derived according to the religion, maintaining judiciary system, maintaining this election commission. So many parts. So apart from many parts, there it is in a written form. Now, single citizenship. What is single citizenship? An American dual citizenship is given, one for United States of America and another for state citizen. So, for example, if we are in Gujarat, in America, how it is? Two citizenship system, dual we can say, as we are using dual SIM. So, dual system is there in America. How it is? A person is having two types of his, we can say card, for example, citizenship we can say. One is of United States of America and another is where does he live, in which state he lives. For example, you will get a card from India and also you will get a card from Gujarat. Gujarat is the state of India. So dual citizenship is there in America. But in India there is only one single, irrespective of any religion or state of the country. Only citizens of Jammu and Kashmir have dual citizenship. One for India, another for the state of Jammu and Kashmir. So only for the people of Jammu and Kashmir there is dual citizenship card we can say. But we all Indian have one particular election card. We have particular one identity of we are of India. We can say identity. In this single citizenship we can say the identity, our own identity. Who are you? Standard 9 student. But above all, you are the student of Ascent. So you get the card regarding Ascent School of Science. Student of Ascent School of Science. No indicated. It is written Standard 9, roll number this, name, might be Rashri, yeah, anybody else, Kanishka, yeah, Dhruv, yeah, Pratham, some of name I have already forgotten. I am sorry, but the center with strong federal structure. We are having a center of strong federal structure. India is a union of state. We all know India is a union of state. There is nowhere any reference of the word federal in the constitution. Union of state is a sentence used for India. By the use of word union, a permanent and irreversible relation between union and its component states is indicated. India is a union state and no state has right to secede it. Thus, India is a union of state, yet it has some elements of federal government. In Indian Federation, there are two sets of government, the union government and the state government. The constitution has all clearly marked areas of functioning for the both kinds of government. The constitution democrates the power of the central and the state government into different list of systems. So we are union. We are in a union. We are having union government, not federal government. Example, federal is Dudhsagar Dairy. We can say Banaskantha side Banas Dairy, Gandhinagar side Mother Dairy. In Mehsana you will get Dudhsagar Dairy, but all is having one federation, and that is having Amul Federation. So it's a federation. You can get the word federation, means having different parts. But India having different state, but it's a union. India is a union. No doubt it works little bit like federal, means central government and state government. Two parts are there. But all things comes from the central, then to states. Because only central government cannot rule all over India. So it has been divided into states, and we are having states government. As we got in Gandhinagar. The main office is at Gandhinagar. We can say Sachivalaya. If you get any chance to go and visit, you will get lots and lots of knowledge. If possible, I will take you all. Now, what is union list? Union lists comprise 97 subjects of national importance like defense, foreign affairs, atomic energy, banking, railway, communication, posts and telegraph are included in the union list. Means in the central government list which sections are derived. So we can easily say foreign affairs. That means foreign import, export, everything regarding foreign countries, any issues, any problems, any deals with the business. So everything is done by the central government. Like that, atomic energy, banking, railway, communication, we can say posts and telegraph are included in the union list. While what is there in the state list? The state list comprises of 66 subjects. The state list comprises of those important subjects on which the state legislative house can pass law. Subjects like law and order, state government institutions, agriculture and irrigation, health, land, interstate trade and commerce are included. If there is a failure of the law and order in the state government, the union government with consent or against the will of the state can send reserve police force. So it happens. Some matters are there regarding, for example, we will go to the road. If the road of Palanpur from Aroma to bus stand, we can see, railway station, it has been spoiled, we will go to the central government to complain? No, we will complain the state government. So like this, some facilities that are mentioned, that work can be done by the state government, that rights are given to the state government. And if any state government fail to do this type of work, then reserve police force are sent to any we can say any bad things is done, any offended thing is done, then the state government, the central government, means the union government works. Now concurrent list. What is the concurrent list? In addition to this, the constitution provides for a third list that is called the concurrent list, which consists of subjects of common concern both the central and the state government. The central and the state government can pass law on the subject. The concurrent list has 47 subjects. The list includes subjects like criminal and civil procedures, marriage and divorce, education, economic planning, trade, union, etc. So the matters regarding concurrent means both government are responsible for this person. Which are they? Criminal and civil procedure. If any crime is done, I have not explained you the judiciary system. One whole lesson is there regarding judiciary system. It's an important fact, important lesson as per I think. Some lesson like democracy, these features of constitution, then judiciary system. So many 2 or 3 lessons are there. They are useful to you all throughout the life. So here some matters are there that can be solved through both type of both government will go through each other and solve. So it is given concurrent list. Now just wait. So it's a lack of time, and I would like to continue this lecture in next session. If you have any doubt, you just contact me. Thank you very much.